people of Toluca, and the people of Mexico, thank you so much for your extraordinary hospitality. Thank you again, Enrique, for welcoming us to your hometown and home state, which, like beautiful surroundings tonight, reflects Mexico's proud history, as well as the economic dynamism of today's Mexico. I want to thank Presidents Nieto and Prime Minister Harper for their partnership in deepening the extraordinary ties between our countries, especially the trade that supports good jobs for our people. For the United States, Canada, and Mexico are two of our largest trading partners, with trade that supports millions of American jobs. Thanks in part to our efforts to boost U.S. exports, American exports to Canada and Mexico continue to grow faster than our exports to the rest of the world. Together, our countries have strengths that give North America a tremendous competitive advantage. The skills of our workers, manufacturing is growing, and new sources of energy. So we have to take advantage of these competitive advantages, and we need to do it together. All of this positions us to be a powerhouse in the global economy. And that's why we're here, to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be more competitive and create more jobs in Canada, in Mexico, and in the United States. First, we're focused on making it easier to trade. Earlier today, I signed a new executive order to make it easier for companies that want to export and import. Instead of dealing with dozens of different federal agencies and long paper forms, we're going to create a one-stop shop online so companies can submit all their information in one place and save themselves time and money. We're going to keep investing in infrastructure like roads, bridges, border crossings, so our goods are getting to market faster. We've agreed to keep working to make it easier for our business people and tourists to trade and travel. And we're going to step up our efforts to streamline and eliminate regulations, the red tape that can sometimes stifle trade and job creation. We've agreed to keep working to complete negotiations on the Trans-Pacific Partnership, including strong protections for our workers and the environment, so that we can compete in the fast-growing markets of the Asia-Pacific. And because it will grow the U.S. economy and make the United States more attractive to investment, and because we have to do right by our families and our values, I've reiterated that immigration reform remains one of my highest priorities. I'm also very pleased that we've agreed to keep expanding educational partnerships, as Enrique mentioned, so our young people develop the skills they need to succeed in the global economy. This builds on my initiative that we call 100,000 Strong in the Americas. We want more students from the United States studying throughout the hemisphere, and we want more students from places like Mexico and Canada studying in the United States, so that they're developing familiarity, partnership, and friendships that will serve them and serve our countries well for decades to come. Second, we continue to deepen our clean energy partnerships, which create jobs and combat climate change. Yesterday, I announced that the United States will develop new fuel economy standards for heavy-duty trucks, standards that reduce carbon pollution. And today, all three of our nations have agreed to work together to meet high fuel standards for these heavy-duty trucks. And more broadly, we agreed to join with our Central American and Caribbean partners on a regional energy strategy. This builds on the commitment I made in Central America last year to help our partners across the region reduce their energy costs and become more competitive. On a global level, we agreed to keep standing together as we push for an international agreement to phase down the production and consumption of dangerous hydrofluorocarbons. Number three, we know that realizing our full potential as individual countries and as a region means confronting the criminals and narco-traffickers who unleash so much violence on our citizens. Here in Mexico, the security forces and the Mexican people continue to make enormous sacrifices in that fight, and our three nations are united against this threat. In the United States, we continue to be committed to reduce the demand for illegal drugs, and we'll continue our unprecedented efforts to combat the southbound flow of illegal guns and cash. And finally, given our shared commitment to democratic values and human rights, I want to take this opportunity to address the situation in Venezuela and Ukraine, and the unacceptable violence in those two countries, which the United States strongly condemns. In Venezuela, rather distract from its own failings by making up false accusations against diplomats from the United States, the government ought to focus on addressing the legitimate grievances of the Venezuelan people. So, along with the Organization of American States, we call on the Venezuelan government to release protesters that it's detained and engage in real dialogue. And all parties have an obligation to work together to restrain violence and restore calm. With regard to Ukraine, along with our European partners, we will continue to engage all sides, and we continue to stress to President Yanukovych and the Ukrainian government that they have the primary responsibility to prevent the kind of terrible violence that we've seen, to withdraw riot police, to work with the opposition to restore security and human dignity, and move the country forward. And this includes progress towards a multi-party technical government that can work with the international community on a support package and adopt reforms necessary for free and fair elections next year. Ukrainians are proud and resilient people who've overcome extraordinary challenges in their history, and that's a pride and strength that I hope they draw on now. Meanwhile, I've urged the military of Ukraine to show restraint and to let civilians pursue the dialogue necessary for progress. We've obviously seen reports of a truce between the government and the opposition. If the truce is implemented, it could provide space for the sides to resolve their disagreements peacefully. And going forward, we'll continue to do whatever we can to support Ukrainians as they seek a peaceful solution and respond to the aspirations of the Ukrainian people for a strong, unified democracy that's fully integrated into the international community. So, again, I want to thank Enrique and the people of Mexico, the people of Toluca for their wonderful hospitality. If we stay focused on our shared vision of North America that's more integrated and more competitive, and progress in each of our countries will mean more prosperity and opportunity for everyone. Thank you very much.